name is Perez. I'm a managing editor for Grand Driver Mexico.
Does the Mexican government, I know you guys have a lot of pollution, are they looking at what they can do for that pollution?
Yes, we have certain programs like what we call verificación, which happens in major cities such as Mexico City. And what you do is that you test your car for emissions, and if you pass that test, you can use your car every day. If you don't pass that test, you can't use your car for 1 day a week, or 2 days if there's a contingency. That's pretty much the plan. We don't have like EPA millage regulations. We don't have any of that.
So you have you don't have a certain amount of mileage that a car has to make like we have cafe?
No, there's no regulation regarding that.
Are they having any discussions about this?
Well, they are, but the thing is that they're not actually doing anything. For instance, with diesel cars that pollute a lot less and have a lot less emissions than a regular gasoline car, you don't get to pass those tests. I mean, you can run the test, but no matter the result, you get to rest for a day. You can use your car for a day with the diesel engine. And that's only because the machines they use to test cars are not suited for diesel engines. They're just made for gasoline engines. So it's a regulation problem.
Where do you see the car industry going in Mexico?
The car industry was expected to be growing a lot, but with the Chinese cars coming over and what we call chocolates, which is cars that we use used cars from the United States and Canada that can be now freely imported to Mexico. The industry is just it's going down. They cannot sell as many new cars. Yeah, it's going down.
The Chinese cars, they're being sold in places that are stores that are similar to what we would call Walmart here.
Yeah, there are department stores that sell house appliances, and so they're giving financial credits, but it's like a weekly payment, and you don't have to have a credit record to be able to buy a car like that.
Have these guys heard of subprime loans?
I think that's what you were talking about, and I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, because we had the same problem here for houses where they were getting credit and you didn't have to have credit, you didn't have to have anything down, you just pay monthly, and that's what happened, and now we're paying for it. Are they not watching that in Mexico?
No, and that's also a social phenomenon, because in Mexico the number of employed people that have an economical activity is about 40 million. Of those 40 million, about 19.5 million are self-employed but informally employed. They fall in this gray area of economics. They don't have a real job, so they don't pay taxes. But since they don't have a real job and pay taxes, they cannot apply to regular credit for a car. So 19.5 million is a very big market, and that's the market they're aiming for with the subprimes and the Chinese cars.
Are there any figures yet on how many are coming back foreclosure?
Not yet. They just started selling those cars in January, and they're starting delivering them. So we don't have any figures yet. We don't even know if those cars are going to pass the verification test that I was talking about earlier.
Now, the cars that are coming in, the used cars that are coming in from the United States, are those good cars or are those...
No, those are older cars. So those are Katrina cars mostly, because to be able to import a car without paying as many taxes as you would, those have to be older than 10 years. And mostly those cars are the ones that have been discarded by insurance companies because they've been involved in a crash. So that's the kind of cars that are bringing in Mexico. So we have a lot of problems with where we're going to get parts to fix those cars. If they break down, what we're going to do. So basically we're importing junk. And that's becoming a big problem, which is also related to the migration problem. Because people that go into the United States to find a job, they buy a cheap car and they come back to Mexico to visit their families and they just leave the car there. You know, that's how people get those cars. And so they're not registered. Most of those cars are not registered. We don't have a record if they've been involved in a car accident. Probably they won't meet the emissions regulations, so it's a big problem.
So they drive them unlicensed?
Yeah. And it works if you're inside the country. It doesn't work in the main cities, you know, because police are looking for those cars and you can get a ticket. But there's a lot of cars like that.
Angela Perez, thank you very much.
Thank you.